So here's the website you're going to learn how to make today in this tutorial, and as you can see, it turned out incredibly. And I just want to give you a quick tour of the website features now so that we can be sure that it's right for you. We're going to learn how to set up this video background at the very top, and this could be any video you create or just a huge image. And then scrolling down, we're going to learn how to create featured sections for your products, like this one with the computer. We're going to insert large full screen quotes and even more sections to show off your business, your ideas, your products, like this really cool grid. So we have a slider in it, or a gallery, some people like calling it. I just call it a slider. And then we have a featured video. And then at the bottom, another video background, which is really awesome because it looks like you just open your laptop in the park here and the park's just doing its park thing in the background. Super cool. We're going to learn how to create a custom footer because footers are always annoying us. So we're just going to create our own amazing footers with, of course, social icons and menus and whatever you want to say. If we click on this helpful arrow, we can go back to the top. And I really do believe you're going to capture your passions with this website. So let's check out the About page. And we can see you're going to learn how to set up a huge hero image. You can put text on top of it or videos or buttons, and you can easily move this wherever you want. In the old days, you'd have to just put things where the theme wanted them to go, but now they can go anywhere. That's my dad, by the way. He's a really cool guy. And then when we scroll down, you can see we get this interactive feature, like the moving progress bars, the counters, the list, the icons. We're going to keep it simple with a little 3-image section, and then of course we got to add Instagram. And so this website truly has something for everyone. Let's check out the services page, where we're just going to set a nice relaxing vibe with huge beautiful background images you can download for free. And I'm going to show you how to alternate where the text goes with the headers and this nice little divider line. And so going up, we can click on our work, and our work just has more cool features, stuff you might not have even thought you could create, but now we can because Elementor is just that good. So this page is all about reviews so that people have no doubts that our work is the best. And then just more stuff. You get the icons of a theme like Vantage and all the easy stuff we've used on WordPress before. That includes a contact page. You'll learn how to set up this full screen map that could show off your business location, more icons, and a cool contact form over here, which of course works if someone fills it in. So when someone clicks send, I'll show you how it works. WordPress just thinks for a second and then it sends the message, and it's just going to go right to the email that we set up. Super simple, and it works, and you can build your customer interactions with that. So this demo site we made uses the Sydney theme, and of course it turned out really professional, but we're limited by where the theme wants things to go. For example, the button has to go here, the text goes here. But in Elementor, you can move anything. You can click on a button and go ahead and move it. You can easily just drag it, so wherever you want things to go, they'll go there. Let's say you want to change where this text goes. Just click on the column settings, advanced, delete this up here, boom, done. And we just moved some text. Or maybe you saw a really neat part of another website that you want to use, like here on our Laurel website demo. We want to create these 3 floating featured boxes with the button on top of them. Well, boom, we just did it. And because we did it in Elementor, we can change everything from the size of the text, the font, to the width of the boxes, to even the amount of shadow around the boxes. It's super easy. You don't need to know anything about code, and you can do this on a Mac, PC, or whatever type of computer you have. Or maybe you're spending your time hanging out on some other website, like this random computer store, and you're like, whoa, man, these features are cool. I want to learn how to make that one right there. We just did it again, all using Elementor, and more importantly, with your own text, your own ideas, your own images, all with professional tools that any of us can figure out. So the steps to make our website with Elementor today could not be easier in this Elementor tutorial. The first one is going to be to get our domain name. So domain name is just your address on the web, just in the same way that someone lives at 123 Malibu Way, your website lives at your domainname.com or .org or .net or whatever you choose. A domain name is actually going to be free today because we're going to use Bluehost to set everything up. So they give you a free domain as a way of saying thanks for joining them. So that's really cool. Then we have our hosting. So the hosting is just like a plot of land, If the domain is the address, then the hosting is like the plot of land where you find when you visit the address. And this is going to cost us about $4 per month, as you'll see on the next few screens. So once we have our domain name, aka our address, and our hosting, aka our plot of land, we need WordPress, which is going to be, you might have guessed it, our house. So we have an address. When people visit it, they see some land, which is the hosting, and then what people actually come for, like when you'd come to your family reunion or go to visit a housewarming party, is the actual house itself, and that's WordPress. And of course, once you have your domain name and hosting, WordPress is, despite what a lot of people think, free to use. We're going to get a free theme and a lot of cool free plugins, so your website has good stuff on it right away from the moment you get started. Once we have our domain name and our hosting and our WordPress installed, and by the way, all of this goes on at Bluehost, so you can rest assured that all of this stuff above is taken care of at the same secure place that's actually the #1 recommended place to do it by WordPress themselves. You'll be happy that you don't have to worry about moving anything at all. And then lastly comes the content, and that's going to be built with Elementor, the web's best drag and drop page builder, and you don't have to know any coding to build a website. I'll also show you how to get free background images, change the fonts for free to a ton of cool different fonts, make a logo for free, and generally design a whole website for free. So the amount that you'd save as opposed to going with a web designer in your town is going to be thousands. And if you don't believe me, go out and get a quote. I guarantee you'll be amazed. Alright guys, so if you're ready to get started, I'm ready too. Let's open up our Google browsers here. I'm just going to open up a totally new window here. And to get the best discount available today that I've negotiated with Bluehost for you guys, just type in https://www.dearblogger.org, that's my blog, /Bluehost, and hit enter. Alright folks, so welcome to Bluehost, and you're probably wondering what's the best plan for me today. Well, it's sort of like throwing darts at the side of a barn because every plan at Bluehost works great for WordPress. You can hover on WordPress and see they have WordPress hosting, WP Pro, e-commerce. Under normal hosting, they have shared, VPS, dedicated, and so on and so forth. But if you're wondering what the most affordable plan is, then there's two options, and they're both called the basic plan. So I'll show you those right now. The first one you can find if you click Get Started. And you can see the first version of the basic plan that we've really loved in the past. So you get all these features for a great price, and honestly, this is how most people set up WordPress at Bluehost. Of course, there's Plus, Choice Plus, and Pro if you want to spend a little more. Those are great too, but a lot of people have gone with basic and given me really great reviews. However, Bluehost, with all their amazing technology, recently created a WordPress-specific basic plan that we can find if we go back and then hover on WordPress and click WordPress hosting. So with this version of the basic plan, if you scroll down, we get all the features from the other option, but we get cool features too, like $200 marketing credit, which obviously I want to take advantage of today. And if we scroll up, you can see you get automatic WordPress install and updates, and so on and so forth. Other hosts that are worse than Bluehost would charge more for these advanced WordPress features, but Bluehost charges them for the same price. So it's really cool. And I personally want your blog or website to be as supercharged as possible from the first day you make it. And that's why I think this is our optimal plan here. So under this WordPress basic option, we're just gonna hit select and move forward. And now we gotta get a new domain name, or we can use one that you might already have. But I have a pretty simple idea for a domain name, which is just bluehosttutorial.com. I'm pretty surprised no one got that yet. If you need tips on a domain name, keep it simple. Keep it something you could tell someone at a conference or at the bar at an after party and they'll remember it. And don't use any dashes or weird signs or anything like that. You want the .com because it's the most recognizable. If someone says, my website is called Facebook, you're not going to be like, oh, that's obviously facebook.tech. You're going to think of .com, and you could sell it for the most money if you get the .com. So we'll click next, and it looks like Bluehost is already going to try to teach people some tutorials on this account from their example.com, which I bet they own. So they beat us to it. That's kind of funny. But if you get an error like that, you can just add, some different letters to the end of it. Bluehost tutorials would be perfect because we're going to make more than one. And now click next. So what about even shorter? We could do guide. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna have to resort to doing just our first name, last name. All right, still not available. So how about Bluehost setup and next? One of these has gotta work. All right, we got it through and we're good to go. I'll leave that part in the video though, because I bet you guys are struggling a bit for your domain name too. And now we're excited that we got one. We're not gonna do the Google sign-on. I don't really even know why that's there. And then we're just gonna do the account information. First name, last name, business name, if you have one. So I just incorporated. I'm gonna put that in, and then we're gonna do the address. All right, and then I'm gonna come down and do package information. So this basically just says how long you want Bluehost for, and the price goes down per month if you get more months up front. So I obviously want the least price per month because I know I'm gonna keep Bluehost forever. I'm gonna go with that one. Then we have our hosting price. That's the number of months times the cost per month. Primary domain is free. We get a free SSL for security. Then package extras is really easy. That part we just uncheck like everything because these are just additional features. Bluehost obviously has a lot of upsells and they have good services, but we can add those later if we want. And we want to keep it on a tight budget. All right, I'm going to jump up and put in that address, and then we're going to put in our payment information here, and then we're going to get our Bluehost account. Okay, got the address in. Now let's do the payment. So I'm just going to pay Bluehost like we would for any online payment, like to Apple, Amazon, eBay, Craigslist, wherever you shop. And I think I remember my credit card number. Yep. All right, I'm just going to blank it out just so no one goes on a shopping spree here. Although I'm pretty generous. If you meet me ever at a conference, I'll get you a drink or something. And now we're gonna check this box right here. And the next step is just to hit submit, and Bluehost will basically register your domain for you, take that process off your hands so no one else can get your domain name. They're also gonna set up our hosting. So clicking submit is gonna do the first two things, domain name and hosting, and then we install WordPress for free, super fast, the way that the pros do it at Bluehost. All right, so let's click submit together. All right, guys and gals, so that was really easy. It's probably a lot easier than you first thought when you heard of WordPress.org and Bluehost, but it really is that easy. And now we just gotta hit create account. All right, just a few boxes here. So they have our domain name, looking good. Create a password. Very good. And then I've read and agree, and we are gonna create account. Boom. Next, click on go to login. All right, we're gonna do the hosting login here, and it's gonna test us to see if we remember the password we just made. So hopefully we can pass that test and click login. And for your reference, if you get lost and that page closes, the link is just my.bluehost.com, and that's where you log in. All right, so here we are in the Bluehost Let's Create a Website screen. And sorry, I'm just reading exactly what it says. I guess I like stating the obvious. So you want to do what do you want to name your site? And usually you just want to call it whatever your domain name is. So Bluehost setup is good, but feel free to be as creative as you want. You can change it anytime. There you go, just read things again. And then what's your site's tagline? So this, how about awesome Bluehost setup guide made easier for beginners. All right, we can all be beginners at some point in life, not a big deal. If you're afraid of being a beginner, you probably aren't learning very much out there. Do you want to blog? Yeah, of course. And we're going to display our blog posts on a different page. How about that? No, let's just go with homepage. That makes the most sense. So there's like a list of blog posts on the homepage. And I'll show you how to change that later on if you want. Then we're going to go with, do you want an online store? So they will actually install and activate WooCommerce, an e-commerce plugin for WordPress for us, which is great because we do want to sell things. I'm thinking at some point we might want to sell an ebook or maybe a coaching package, something we can sell a lot of and then help people with on the internet. Make a little passive income, you know? So perfect. And now we're done here, so we can click continue. And then it says, do you want an online store? And this is where we create our e-commerce website. By checking this little tick box, they'll actually install and activate WooCommerce, meaning you get a cart, your account, checkout, all those pages, including some demo products and the ability to add products, all for free. So like in the olden days, you'd have to create those pages from scratch. You'd have to really know how to code a product onto your website, which was so much work, especially to connect it with a checkout and do all the JavaScript to accept payments. I won't say anymore, but they're going to do it for us, and that's why we like using Bluehost to create an online store. It's super awesome. And of course, WooCommerce is the best e-commerce plugin for WordPress. Plus, I mean, why not make your website even more powerful right away with this cool WooCommerce plugin installed? All right, now we're just going to hit continue. So this page is pretty funny because they want you to tell them a little more about you and your goals, but what they actually want is to be able to recommend you some plugins and the best themes for your site. And I just know that you guys are going to want to see the most plugins and themes possible and get all the options, so we're going to check on all of these boxes. And plugins, you know, extend the functionality of your site, help you do more, while themes are the template or the look, the skin, whatever you want to call them. Then it says, are you comfortable creating websites? Whatever you want to say, really. I mean, you have me here, so we can go with like a 3 out of 4, sure. You know, let's actually do a little 1 out of 4, just so you don't miss any steps. All right, so they said if you want extra help, we can design it for you. They're probably going to charge you a little fee there, so we'll do it together. And that's really what that's all about. All right, cool. So we're going to continue to theme selection now. Click on that. All right, so I'm going to zoom out real quick on my screen so we can see everything here. It's time to pick a theme that inspires you at Bluehost. All right, so what are they trying to do here? They're actually trying to do us a lot of good and offer us the best themes, and I can tell you a little bit about them. Astra is amazing for websites. Storefront is the default e-commerce theme. OceanWP is just like Astra for websites. Sydney is an amazing one-page theme where you can click and go up and down the screen. GeneratePress is a little bit more business corporate. Hestia is for travelers. Elementor is super basic, really beginner friendly, just like a drag and drop page builder. And then Xeraflight is also good for travel bloggers and adventurers. Of course, you can click to the right, and as you can see, there's like 559 options. So I don't know much about these, but I'm sure they're great. The thing is, I want you to see the default WordPress setup and theme so that you start with like the most basic setup and you don't miss any steps. And for that reason, we're gonna actually pick our theme later. I have one in mind that we wanna use, and that means we can just skip this step, and you can get all of these later because they're free and you can just get them from inside your WordPress dashboard. So let's skip this step. All right, a little welcome to Bluehost notification here. Use your Bluehost dashboard to monitor and manage your sites, emails, and domains. Be sure to stop by the marketplace to find the tools you need to empower your site. Cool. Let's get started. All right, we're gonna not do additional charges right now, although thank you anyways. Click I don't want privacy. So they're gonna offer you a free month trial of domain privacy protection. If you wanna take advantage of that, go ahead. Just keep in mind that I think you'll have to pay after 30 days. So we just wanna keep it on a budget right now. I'm gonna click I'm sure, turn off. All right, very nice guys. You've done a great job. You've gotten further than like 97% of beginners who never take this initial step and make a commitment to actually get their own domain name and hosting on WordPress and join the ranks of all those professional bloggers out there trying to make it. So you really set yourself apart from the pack. There's a Greg's list to launch over here. So recommended, skipped, completed, kind of a cool little checklist here. But what I'm most curious about, and you too probably, is what does our site look like right now? So you can click on View My Site and WordPress, either one. If you want right now, it's really tempting. If you do it, you know, just go for it. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm going to open a new tab, and check out bluehostsetup.com so we don't lose that initial screen right here. Alright, so cool. It says a new WordPress site is coming soon. This is what anyone visiting your site as you build it would see. And if you want to actually log into WordPress, you can just click on admin login. So of course we do. Let's click on admin login. And then we're going to go to our email and we're going to try to retrieve that password for WordPress. They should have sent it to us. There it is. So you get a few emails from Bluehost. And it's going to say probably the one we want to do first is the action required one. Just click on that and verify your email. Thanks. All right, that's done. Now we're going to go to inbox again and click welcome to Bluehost. So this is just like a receipt email. And now back to Bluehost again, and then all right, so nothing from WordPress. All right, so we're going to close our email, and in order to get our Bluehost username and password, let's go back to our portal and click on My Sites. And now let's click on Manage Site. So this is like a basic overview of your site, what's going on now, how many themes, plugins, users you have, and we're going to manage us because we're the one user. All right, and there's our username, so that's just Greg and Ryan 1. All right, now we got our username, so that's just shown right here, and we're going to hit login. All right, guys, and we're in. Cool. So we're just going to clean things up a little and close these notifications because we don't want to use Opt-in Monster plugin or this one for now. And we can get rid of these other ones too, just so we can see the normal WordPress dashboard as anyone would. And now the first order of business is just to change our password. So we're going to click on users. And there we are. We're going to click on edit. And now scroll down, and now it's time to give ourselves a new password under account management. So just click generate, and I'm going to go with hide, and then create a new password for yourself. Make sure it's strong if you can, and then just scroll down and update profile. All right, now we can scroll up, and to view our site in WordPress, everyone just clicks on this Bluehost setup button, which is your site title. So it'll say whatever your site is called up here with the home icon. Just click that, and it takes you to the front end, which is how the world sees your new website or blog. Super basic, doesn't look that great, but we're gonna make it look amazing. And then you can click on that same button to go to the back end or the dashboard. So that's just how that button works, really important. Of course, you might notice that our domain name looks all funky right now, and that's because it's a temporary domain at Bluehost. They start you off on a temporary domain now because they don't know if you're gonna come from a domain name at a different place or buy a domain name with them. So we have to click on Bluehost, and this takes us back to our Bluehost WordPress panel, and now we're going to click on hosting and go back to manage. So you can see how the WordPress area is connected to the Bluehost area. All right, and now let's go back to home. And we can see that there's this temporary box blah 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 domain in here, which doesn't look good. We want to get rid of that. And you can change that by clicking on My Sites, hover on your little site card and click Manage Site. Then we're going to hit Settings. And for site URL right here, just highlight it and delete it, and then write in what we wanted our site URL to be. So it's http:// and then bluehostsetup.com. So just write in whatever your domain name was right here without the www, but with the .com or whatever extension it is, and click Save Updates. All right, and as you can see, there's a lot of other fun advanced settings here that we can play with later on. Let's click on My Sites again, so we get our site card, and now let's go to log into WordPress one more time. Alright, so now it should take you to the traditional WordPress login screen right here, and if it doesn't, then I want you to just open up a new tab, type in your domain name, whatever you chose, and do a / and then a wp-admin, A-D-M-I-N, and I want you to do this because this is the standard way to log into WordPress just through your browser window, like through Google. So before we were logging in through the Bluehost panel, but now we're logging in just through Google, and hit enter. All right, here we are at the normal WordPress window. Pop in our username and our password. And now most importantly, we're gonna hit remember me to save us time in the future and also bookmark this login screen if we forget it. And click login. Alright guys, so just 2 ways to log into WordPress there, whatever works better for you in the future. You can go through your Bluehost panel or you can go right through Google. Alright folks, so here we are on our dashboard. This is just where you'll be taken every time you log in to the WordPress dashboard. And the first thing I want to do is manage our plugins so that we're literally all on the same page and have the same WordPress install going forward. So let's click on plugins. And we can see we have some default plugins, some ones we might want, and some plugins we might not want. And if you delete a plugin, you can always get it back by clicking Add New at the top. There's no harm to your site, especially if your site's not running on that plugin. You can just get it back for free. So we're going to go about activating and deleting. We're going to click Activate on Akismet because that controls the anti-spam. Make sure you don't get spam comments, or at least they don't get published on your site. All right, now we're going to go back to plugins. And for the Bluehost, we want to keep that active because that helps your site connect with the control panel, security, update features, all that. For Google Analytics by Monster Insights, we're going to deactivate just because I like doing that part manually. And I'll leave you guys a video below on how to manually set up Google Analytics actually using the Google Analytics site. So we can delete it now and hit enter and zap it. And delete Hello Dolly. That's just putting like a quote in the upper right corner of our screen. Kind of cute, but we don't need it today. We're also going to deactivate Jetpack and deactivate Opt-in Monster. We're going to keep WooCommerce because that lets us turn our website into an online store. And we're going to deactivate WP Forms Lite. No longer need it, and submit deactivate. Really great plugins, we just don't need them now. And it saves space on your site to make it faster if you get rid of them. If you have a lot of plugins to delete, you can just check both of them and then go to bulk actions, delete, and apply, and enter. All right, now for the plugins we need. So of course we're gonna build our website with Elementor, the best drag and drop plugin out there. So we wanna go to add new and get the plugin that is Elementor. All right, we're gonna do a search plugins for Elementor and there she blows, and install now. So 3 million activations, 3 million plus, so you know it's good. All right, so we have to activate Elementor to get it working, and then we'll probably be taken to a beautiful Elementor screen. All right, welcome to Elementor. So it's gonna ask us if we wanna get the full guide, which is a really cool resource. We can right click and open that in a new tab and save that for later because that's from the awesome people at Elementor. A lot of tutorials like this one on how to use their page builder. Or you could click create your first page. But in our case, we need to finish our list of plugins. So we're gonna actually just go back to plugins, and you can find this button right here just by going to pages. It'll just be the same thing. So we're gonna go back to plugins, and we do need a contact form plugin. So we're gonna click add new, and I wanna get you guys the best contact form plugin ever called Contact Form 7. Works with so many different themes. It's been around forever, and like, yeah, it's even bigger than Elementor. So instant install and activate. All right, and now all of our sites should be on the same page. If we go to plugins, we should have 5 plugins right now, and let me know any questions you have about additional ones, or maybe you found a plugin you absolutely need but you aren't sure if it's good for your site. I can confirm it below in the comments. Next, we want to check out our themes. So if we look at our site by clicking on the site title button, we see we're running the 2019 WordPress theme. It's a WordPress theme built by the WordPress team. And like I said before, it looks okay, but we want to make this site look amazing. And the problem is so many other millions of WordPress blogs and sites that are installed use this theme, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with trying to figure out how to make this look good by like adding images and blog posts, but it's not exactly going to stand out among the pack. And that's something I want for all of us. So to change our theme, we're going to go back to the dashboard, and we're just going to hover on appearance and click themes. And you'll get to the same place if you just click appearance. Same place right here. So now in our theme panel, we can see we have 2019 active. We also get 2017 and 2016. If you wanted to switch to 2017, for example, you can just click and open it and click activate. Super cool. And now when we click on our site title, You can see everything will look different automatically. So you get a lot of really cool templates and looks for free in WordPress just by installing WordPress. Let's go back to the dashboard though and come back to Appearance Themes. And I want to show you how to delete a theme if you want to save even more space on your site. Maybe you like things really neat and tidy. You can just click one to open it up and then click delete in the lower right corner and OK. And if you want to get it back just like a plugin, there's no harm, no foul. Just click on add new theme and you can search for it and get it back. Alright, so now it's time to get a WordPress theme that works perfect with Elementor. So Elementor is the plugin and the page builder, but it needs a theme to operate in. And we can find the perfect theme by clicking add new theme right here. Big plus icon. Next, to get ourselves a brand new theme that will stand out, let's just click on the huge blue plus icon. And we're going to do a search for a theme called OceanWP. This theme is a godsend. I am so amazed by it. I can't believe it's free, and I would bet that this might be the only theme you ever have to install. And we're gonna get so good at it that you can build almost any website look you see online with OceanWP. It's just that good. All right, so let's click install to try it out. And of course use it, and then click activate. All right, so you successfully changed your theme. If you refresh your site, it should show Ocean. All right, so we're on the right track, and we got to fill it in with some cool content now. But first, go back to manage themes, and it's going to say if your theme recommends any plugins. So Ocean does. Let's go ahead and just get those out of the way. Click begin installing plugins. Just select them and click install apply. All right, so this will make our life easier later on. All right, now if we go to plugins, we can see you should have 5 plugins active at the moment. Akismet, Content Form 7, Elementor, Ocean Demo Import, and Ocean Extra. If your screen looks like mine, then you're all set to proceed. So the next thing I want you to do is create the page structure for your site, because right now, what we're looking at doesn't really help us when we build it. We want to have pages live and also in a menu so that we can click around and get to the right page and just edit it. Right now, what we're showing is sort of the default WordPress blog layout. This is just a sample post that WordPress made for you with a sample comment, sample sidebar, sample, archives. We didn't write anything in March 18. I don't know why it's March. It's June right now. In any case, this looks like a default blog. We want to get rid of it super quick. So let's do it, and we'll do it the right way, the way a web designer would. I actually used to be a web designer, by the way, sitting down in coffee shops and pitching websites to people and then telling them all sorts of stuff I would build for them that I had no clue how to build yet. So, of course, I eventually figured it out. And to get started with those pages, we're just going to come back to our dashboard and click Pages. And we're going to trash these demo pages. I think my cat is bashing the lamp with his paws to try to catch bugs. Interesting strategy. And now to add a new page to your website, just click Add New. All right, and the first page I want you to add is super redundant. We're just going to add a front page. And this will become your home page. All right, very cool. Now I'm going to show you some basic OceanWP settings that we're going to apply to almost every page we make. It'll just make our life easier and basically just help you get rid of anything you don't want on your site. So those settings are right here in OceanWP. And the first thing we're going to do is make the content layout full width. All right, so that'll allow your content to expand to the far left and far right of the screen and get rid of the white space over here. Then we're going to make your margins disabled, get rid of more unnecessary space that can just confuse us when we're trying to make things full width. Next, we're going to go to header, and we're going to disable your top bar, which is just this bar right here, just another WordPress site. And we're going to go down and we're going to enable the header. So we're going to use the header from Elementor, and that's where we're going to put your logo and your nav menu. It's really helpful to do it this way. That way all of our pages have a header above them and we can make it transparent or sticky or do whatever we want with it. The alternative is custom Elementor headers that you make as a template, and then you can assign them to different places. And we're going to do that with our footer. So you'll basically learn both methods, and we'll see how that works. Header style, just leave it as default for now. Then we'll go to title, and we're going to get rid of the page title. Cool. We're keeping it really clean and simple here, guys, and now we're just going to publish the first page. All right, so I'm going to repeat this process now for all the pages on our site, and you can follow along with me, although I might hurry it up a little bit just to get us to the building content part. So we click Add New at the top, and we're going to do our About page. Pretty cool. Everyone needs one of those. Now let's get those OceanWP settings out of the way. So content layout full width, disable margins, we'll go to header, disable the top bar, enable the header, and go to title and get rid of that page title. And we can publish it. All right, now add new. We're gonna do this for our work page. So once again, content layout full width, margins disabled, header, disable top bar, enable header, and title, disable the page title, and publish. So these are going to give us really clean layouts, just simple pages where we can put in all of our Elementor content and still use some of the best features from OceanWP at the same time. All right, so now that we've done a few pages, I'll race ahead and finish the rest of them for us. And those are going to be services, contact us, and we'll finish together with the blog page. So our last page is blog. And for this one, it's even more simple. All you need to do is just call it blog or whatever your blog is going to be named. Maybe you have your own name for it, and then just publish it. So we're going to do something special now with the front page and the blog page, and that would be to go to settings, reading, and in WordPress, they give you the option to set up what your homepage shows and what your post page shows. And if you do this option, you have more control of your site. If you leave it as your latest post, then on the homepage, you just see a blog post and this blog stuff over here. So we want to get rid of that blog look, at least when someone first visits your site. And that's why in reading settings, we're going to click your homepage displays, not your latest post, but a static page. And that static page is just going to be our front page. And that way we can drag and drop content into the homepage and make it look however you want when someone first lands on your site. And then we're also going to make the post page the blog. So that moves all the posts, like this default post, over to your blog page, which will just be a totally different page. And now save those changes. All right, so once you do all that, you can refresh the site and you should see some pretty significant changes. So now we have a totally blank canvas to make a website on. Great. The last housekeeping thing I want you to do is just go to your settings and click permalinks and then just choose post name. All right. Choosing post name is the best option here because right now by default, if you look at the links to your pages, they might have some like random codey stuff in them. Like if you look at our work and you click view page at the top to look at it, right now we have an index.php in our link. That's sort of just standard HTML and website stuff, which some sites on the web still use today. But we're going to get rid of this section because I believe, like a lot of other bloggers do, that your links should be as simple as possible and should only include keywords like our work. That's because Google likes simple. They'll be able to read your links quicker and then you can rank better in Google, hopefully as a result. So go to permalinks, choose post name and save it. And now if you refresh that page, you'll get rid of the index.php. Great, so now we can click on your site title to get back to the home page, and it's finally time to start creating our website. So we'll try to follow as predictable of a workflow as possible, and we're just going to start creating your home page top to bottom, and then we'll create the next page, and then the next page, and the next page from top to bottom. We'll make sure they're all linked together and they all look really good with a similar overarching style, and yet that each one of them does their own unique thing. Each one of the pages, that is. All right, so the first step is just to click Edit Page at the top. And now we can click Edit with Elementor. And what a lot of WordPress peoples don't realize is that there's really cool templates here, which you can install to make your website more powerful. Now we're not going to use a template, even though we have in the past, because this time we want to learn how to build everything from scratch. But if you do need to just hop away, or if your boss is going to look at the website you made tomorrow and you need something good, maybe you even work at a law firm or something, and you know this would be perfect then. You just grab a template, it's got some content, you can just write in your own headers, your own text, put in your own pictures, but it will all look like a real website right away. And yeah, if you work for a law firm, it's even better. And so you can make your website look like a real website in a lot of different categories. There are a ton in the template section. And again, to use them, you just click on one like restaurant, and then you click insert, and then whatever page on your website you insert this into will become the entire template, and it'll look really cool. So even though we want to create every section of your website from scratch, I've looked through all these templates, and there's exactly two sections that I really love. And if you look through them, maybe you can find more. And I, above all, just want your websites to look incredible. And so I want to show you how to use these two specific sections. And this is one of them with the checkered pattern. That's really cool. I've never seen anything like this before in a WordPress website. So I want to show you how to just grab this specific section if you think it's going to be good for your website, which I definitely do think is good because they can make your website look really cool. So this is one of them that we're looking at here. And what I want you to do is just click insert here on this restaurant template. All right, and so it's going to become our page. Donald and Preston, our suites. And of course you can choose any of these to keep if you want. This is just like one of my favorite templates by far. Specifically this checkered box pattern area because it has the slider and then it has a video down here. Really cool stuff. It's got the parallax section. So what I'm gonna do for this website here we're building, and again it's up to you if you want to keep like visit us or keep the whole thing, you could just update it. I'm actually gonna delete from top to bottom, delete. We're gonna keep the checkered section. Should we keep this featured quote too? I can practically hear you guys saying keep this section too. We'll just replace it with our own quote. All right, fine, we'll keep this section. And so then you have that featured quote, and we're gonna get rid of this and get rid of that. Perfect. So now let's update the page. And now this stuff would be on our homepage when people found it. So you could replace this with your own branding or your own messages about your site, your own video, your own image slider. And now we're just gonna click add template one more time to get that second little template section that I really love for you guys. And to get to this section, you just have to scroll all the way to the bottom. And it's called the Hero UI Kit right here. So click on that. And like I said, you can keep any of these sections. This is sort of like one of the more stealth layouts that Elementor built for us. So you could keep that iPhone, you could keep the image of the desert, and when you insert this, you get all the images, and you get the laptop image, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like we're importing demo content that you don't have to use, but you can use at any time on your website. So let's click insert. And it's just nice because that way our media library has some cool images and you don't have to have that blank site feeling, which I know a lot of you guys don't like, and I don't like it either then. All right, so with this section, I want us to keep the laptop in the park right here. I think this is super genius. It looks like someone opened up their laptop and they're building an Elementor like in Central Park, and the park is just behind their laptop. So I really like that. It's really unique, and I'm gonna keep that. Gonna delete the sidewalk, delete this, and you can obviously recreate any of this stuff. It's all done with Elementor in the free version. Delete that, and then we're gonna create all of our own stuff. All right, we're gonna delete this. All right, and even when we delete it, we get this laptop image in WordPress. So we can use it again, which we're gonna. All right, we're gonna delete this little footer here from the foodies. Perfect, and let's update. Good job. So we'll blend each of these elements into our finished product website, but at least we have them to start with. Now I wanna show you how to make that large image that goes at the top of the website, and it's actually a video background behind the image. It contains our welcome message, our subheading, a button, and all that. And a really good place to start, because we need a video background, is actually just going where Elementor got their video backgrounds. So to find this video link, we want to start by clicking on the settings for this entire element, which are up here. It looks like a little file cabinet up top. Click on that, and then you click on style, and that's where the video link is. So we can double click on that and then copy it. And then we're gonna see what other related videos are good background videos on YouTube. Because we know if Elementor's getting them somewhere, it must be a good place. All right, so we're just gonna scroll down, and I'm gonna look at this one, which is cool. And if you needed a typer, there you go, but we can also click walking away. Sorry about all my other related videos, by the way. All right, and to get to the point, we can click on the cover beautiful free videos for your homepage, and you can see all their really cool videos. All right, so I'm gonna check out Cheer Up. All right, so that's really nice if your audience likes concerts, really cool. And then I'm gonna check out Beach Camera. All right, so if you're a photographer, this could be a good place to start. All right, pretty cool. Okay, so once you select a background video to use on your website, you wanna do two things. We wanna first just copy the background link, And to get it working on our site, we can go back to our front page, scroll all the way to the top, and just click on the plus up here, which will open up a brand new section. We can click add new section, and we can give ourselves the one column layout. And you can see this is the new section up here, just sitting there at the top. So now we've added a new section, and we can drag some content into it, like text, a heading, an image, all that, a button, for example. And then we can put the background on the entire section so that everything we put inside of it sits inside that video background. All right, so let's do it. You can click on this little Rubik's Cube in the upper left corner to get to the elements that we can bring in, and then we can just start bringing them in. So I want to bring in a heading, click on the Rubik's Cube, and then we're going to bring in the text editor. And it takes a little bit of getting used to because we actually want to hold and excuse me, sorry about that. We want to hold the element right here and click and drag and get that blue line. So that's where it's going to go, like not above the heading, but below the heading. Takes a little getting used to. All right, but you know, if I can do it, so can you. Then we're going to grab a button, bring it in. And so pretty soon you'll get used to seeing that little blue section and just dropping it in. Great, so now to insert that video background, you click on the file cabinet for the section, the whole settings of the section, and then click on style, and that's where the background goes. And in background, we'll get the option for background type. We get classic, gradient, and background video. So of course we want that one. Now all you have to do is just paste in that video link right here, and it should show up in the background. The second thing we'll do with that video background is get a still shot to put as our background fallback, which will work on mobile devices or anything that doesn't load quickly, even though mobile devices do load quickly. Just anywhere where the video won't play, they'll see a still image from the video. And we're going to do that in a moment, but for now let's give ourselves some space so we can see the whole video and we can work around with this stuff we put in this section. So come back to layout, make sure you're still on the settings sections up here, click that if you lose it. Go to layout and then just click stretch section. Very good, let's leave this box for now, leave the columns gap default, but where it says height, we can make it fit to screen, and that's sort of the magical setting. Now we have a full screen video, almost. Great, and if you see some extra white space above the image, you can try, like I just did, going from columns gap to no gap, but I don't think that did anything. So let's put some simple styling on that heading and that text editor and that button that are inside this video. We can click on the heading, and then we can just change what it says here. And I'm just gonna write, capture your passions. All right, and then we can add some simple style, like center it. We can also click style, and what I like doing most is going to typography. And in this section, you can make it bigger. Super easy to make it bigger. You don't need to know any sort of code or anything like that, just drag it. So 80 I think looks good, and now we're going to go with a font of your choosing. There are tons of them. You can obviously try them out. You know, that one's like kind of crazy, and this one's kind of straightforward. You're going to really have fun with the fonts. Don't go too crazy. And I'll give you a recommendation now. I really like the one called Roboto, because Roboto's been really popular in the past few years on the web, maybe longer. And now we can choose its line height if we want. We can make more space around the image, but shouldn't need any more than about 1.2 as long as it's on one line. If it's on two lines, then, you know, you might have to play around with that a little more. Next, we can make that text color a nice white. And now let's change that text editor. Click on the text below it. And we're gonna write out some new text, so we can just delete it. And all I'm gonna say is today and share them with the world. All right, so the old WordPress way of changing up these text editors, like in a blog post, is to click on the kitchen sink right now, toggle toolbar, and then you can highlight it and change the color or center it and stuff like that. But I don't want you to do any of that. Just leave the text blank, because when you do those things, it creates little pieces of code around the text right here. We don't want them because Elementor is going to actually do it for us, and it all works a little bit better. We just have to click style, and now you can center it there, and of course change the text color to white. And then we can of course change the typography too. So we'll bring that up so that it goes across the size of the header above it. So something like 40 should work really good, maybe 43. Oh, I was wrong. 48, perfect. And we're actually gonna click on the header above it and style, And we're gonna make that one even bigger because why not? We can. All right, so let's bring that all the way up to 100, not 1,000. All right, and then that looks good for the text editor. Now let's just change the heading font to also Roboto. All right, keep it consistent. And we're gonna click on the button beneath it, and we're gonna center that button. We can make that button small or medium or large, so a little bit bigger. You see a little bit more attention grabbing, and we're gonna click icon, and we're gonna give this one a little arrow. That arrow is going to go downwards. So when people click it, it's going to take them down the site to another important section of your choosing. And that little downwards arrow kind of indicates that. We can also make that icon go after the text. Looks a little better, and you can just space it out. So it's not quite so close to the lettering. All right, very cool. So we're going to get rid of click here. Click here just doesn't really jive with people that much anymore. I think they know they're going to click something, but something a little more descriptive of what they're gonna do, like get started, says a lot more. And that should work with any niche you choose. Now we'll click style and change up that button style. What I wanna show you how to do is to make that button blue, but also to make that button transparent when you hover over it, so the background becomes the woman or the ocean. So in order to do that, make sure you're on normal, not hover. Make sure you're on normal and click on background color. And then you can just change the overall color to blue. Very good. And you can click on the color itself to move away from this section, like open it, close it, open it, close it. Now we're gonna give it a border, which is solid. We're gonna give the border that same blue color, which might seem redundant, but it's necessary. We can change the border radius to make that button a little bit more round. Super cool. 25 looks good. And we need to give our border a width, like 2, so it's actually a border. All right, now we want to click on hover, and we're going to change the button settings when someone is hovering over it. So I'm going to go to text color and make that text blue on hover. So we can see it becomes blue, it kind of goes away, which is not, but we're going to make it all come together. And now we're going to choose background color and take this right slider here and drag it all the way down, which makes it transparent. And now we click away, and you're going to see that we have a nice transparent button. Now I realize I was a little foolish for making that text blue because it doesn't look quite as clear as white. So we can just change that text color on hover back to white. Very nice. And we could even change that border to a solid white, all right, which would possibly look even cooler. Make it a little bigger and make that border color white. All right, so I'll let you guys run with that. We're just gonna update it now. Pretty cool. If you wanted to look at your changes before you update them, you can click on the preview button in the lower left down here, which is this eyeball, and it'll open your site in a new tab. And then if you want to actually just get to the home page as it is now live, you can just click on your site title or your logo or whatever's up here. All right, pretty cool. So to complete this upper above the fold, as they call it, section of your website, I want us to get a logo and a navigation menu, and then we're gonna actually put those things inside the video background as well, so that the video background has everything inside of it. So it's gonna be called a transparent header, and what you need to do to create it is just go back to the Elementor editor. We can get to our WordPress dashboard by clicking on the stack of pancakes in the upper left, and then clicking exit to dashboard. Now just come to OceanWP settings and click header and make that header style, instead of default, make it transparent and update. And let's check out the site. Very cool. And now our site title sits inside the video background, and the video background actually covers the entire screen all the way down to the bottom. Before it was kind of pushed down by the header. So next, to create that header of ours, we can just go back to our page editor, and we're actually gonna hop over to Appearance Customize. If you hover on Appearance, you'll get this little drop down and click Customize. This is where a lot of the old WordPress edits used to take place. Still do. And now we're just gonna click on Menus, and we're gonna click Create a New Menu and give it a name. So we're gonna call this Main Navigation. And it's gonna ask us where we want this menu. So we're gonna say Main and click Next. Main menu goes in the main. And now we just need to add some items. So click Add Items. It's gonna give us that little bounce to tell us we gotta do that. And we're just gonna select pages that we've already made. So we're gonna select Home, Blog, Contact, Services, and Our Work. All right, give it a second, and those will come in on the upper right. We'll just change the positioning of them because we want the blog to be at the end and contact us to be down there too. And we forgot our about page. There it is. All right, really cool. We're gonna bring that up to the number 2 slot. And so right now, home and front page are the same thing, so whichever one you want to use is fine. To change what they say, the text on them, you can just click to open it up, and you can change the navigation label right here. You can also change the URL to where this goes if you want it to go to like Google or Facebook or something like that, although we're going to add social media icons later. But if you want to just change this from contact to contact, get rid of the us, you could do that really easily. And if you want to make a drop down, all you do is just drag one of these items inwards and it will fall under the other one, which it is underneath. So about now would have like a drop down with a drop down in it. Really easy. All right, let's get rid of those drop downs and we're just going to publish our menu. Now I'm going to get you a logo, or rather a couple logos that will go on a light background like this or a dark background like we're going to set up later. To get our logos, I like going to logomaker.com. That's logomaker without the e.com. And it's really easy to get started with a logo. All you need to do is search graphics in the upper left, and you can search something cool like palm tree. Those are probably never going out of style. Or you could search something a little more abstract like triangle, and you're gonna get all these really cool looking triangles. Or you could search something which I usually end up going with, which is a compass. I don't know why, I just like the compass. It sort of says that our website gives someone direction. It's worked for us in the past, I don't know. And then you're just gonna wanna find a really simple logo. It's gonna be tempting to pick a complex one with a lot of features on it, but for something to actually look good on a background like this, it's gotta be simple. And we're just gonna pick this one to pick your logo. And we're just gonna pick this one right here to pick your logo. Just click it, it'll fill in the screen. And you might say, that's not a compass, to which I would respond, are you a compass maker, little rabbit? Okay, so compass color. We want the exact color to go on our logo, whatever it is, if it's a compass or a palm tree, whatever it is. So to find an exact color, you can go back to your website. There's a number of ways to do it, but if we know we want this blue right here, we can just click Edit with Elementor, click on the button to open up its settings, and then we're gonna click on Style. We know it's the blue already, but if we click on the background blue, it'll also give us the 6-digit hex. We wanna highlight this, copy it, including that pound sign, and come back to Logo Maker. Then just put that hex in right here. Just highlighted it and paste it, and we'll get the blue. Now you can also click on it to make it a little bigger. You just drag in the corners. If you wanna change the proportions of it, hold Shift and then click and drag, and you can do anything like that. If you don't like how it looks, hit Command or Control Z to undo. You can also add some text to your logo right here. This is just a little logo tutorial, by the way. You didn't realize this was how to make a logo, but it's also how to make a website with a logo. So if you want to write in some text, that's super easy. Just go ahead and add your text, and you can also make that text the same color. Just keep it selected and make sure that you paste in that hex again right there, and now you have a blue logo and a blue compass to describe it, or something like that. Once your logo is ready, click on the crop button in the lower right. That'll just crop it down, but make sure to click enter so it actually crops. Now we can click save logo in the upper right corner, and we're gonna use the option on the right. All right, we're gonna do it for free, but you have to make sure to give credit to the logo makers themselves. So to do that, click paste this code first, this link right here. Now go back to WordPress and just come back to your dashboard by clicking on the pancakes, exit to dashboard. I know this is a little bit of work, but we always gotta make sure we're doing the right things with giving credit. And go to pages, add new, and I'm just gonna help you set up your credits page. All right, so you can just call it credits. All right, and then we can just paste those credits in the text tab here because it's gonna be a little bit of code with a link. Great, so now it has a link. You can go to visual, and this is what the credits will look like. Then we're just gonna click publish, and so yeah, make sure to add this page to your website. All right, now let's get that logo posted. Back in Logo Maker, we can click download and agree to give credit. It's gonna give us the download file for the logo. So we're just gonna call this star because it's really more of a star than a compass, blue logo. Very cool, and save it. Now before we leave this Logo Maker window, I wanna give us a light version of this logo. So close this window, click on the logo again, and we're gonna drag that blue color into something more like a light gray. A very subtle light gray that'll look good on a dark background. All right, I think it's gonna be somewhere in this corner is what we want. Perfect, ebeef1. All right, great, now just save this one and we can copy the credits again just to be super complete. All right, and then paste them in and update the page, and we're just gonna download. We're gonna call this one star gray logo and save it. So now you should have 2 more logos than you had when you started this tutorial, and let's go and put one of them on our website. Let's go back to the editing window, and we're gonna be in customize here. Go back to the arrow, and now we're just gonna click on header. All right, now we wanna click on logo, and in the logo selected, no logo selected area, click select logo, select files, and this will start searching your computer, and we're gonna click on wherever the logo went to. In our case, it's documents, and I'm gonna click on one and then the other one. I'm just holding command here, and then I'm gonna click open. That's all you need to do to get both of them on your site. All right, and now we can try out the blue one because it's selected right here, and we'll just click select. We're gonna skip cropping because that would make the logo look different or smaller. Give it a second. And there we have our new logo, but it looks huge. We definitely don't want it to cover up capture and all that. So go down here and drag that max width to something a little bit more appropriate. All right, so I like my logo small, not too small, but definitely not too big either. I'd rather it's smaller than bigger because it can get distracting if it's too big. Sometimes you see people's blogs and like the upper 1/3 of their screen is a logo. All right, that size works for me. You can also change the max height if you want, but I'd rather just leave that one alone. We won't change that. So if you change one of them by accident and you want to make it go back to how it was, just bring it back all the way to the left and it should reset. All right, now let's just publish. Super cool. And if you want to get rid of this white line, which we do, we can go back and let's click on general, and we're going to uncheck header border bottom. Awesome, and publish. Now last but not least, in our header, we might want to change the color up here to a blue. This is sort of our action color. When people see blue, it means they can click it, they can click on the logo, they can click on the buttons. Very good color for clicking. So to change the color of the menu links, click out of customize. It's going to bring us back to the OceanWP settings. We can click on menu, and then we can click on, when we scroll down, click on link color. And we need to get that blue again from the button, so click the button, style. If you forgot, which you probably, if you're like me, then you did, then you click on this blue and copy and back in the link color. Just go ahead and paste that in. And when you click away, the color will populate and just update it. So now we've changed the button link color for just this specific page. All right, so it's just gonna be the settings for this front page, and it looks pretty awesome. All right, so while I still have you, before you start going crazy with all that Elementor can do, I wanna show you how you can replicate elements on other websites that you see on the web using, obviously you see them on the web, their websites, using Elementor and using the power of Elementor. So let's go to the Apple website, and before they change the entire website, I wanna show you how to build this really cool section right here with the MacBook, and then you have the nice font and the heading and then the button and the link. So I hope to show you that if Apple can create it on their website, you can create it on yours. And of course we could pick another section, like if we had a couple kids to take a photograph of, we could do this section, or you know, if we were in a business meeting. I'm not sure if we could create this section. This one's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to look into that for you guys. That's very advanced, but hey, who knows? For now, we're gonna start by creating this section on the Apple website, on our website. All right, so let's go back to our Elementor editors. And so when we made the header transparent, it just decides not to show, but it's still there. And we're gonna scroll down, and we're just gonna add a new section right beneath our nice little photographer here. So to do that, just hover on any section and click plus, and a new section will come in right above it. Now let's click add new section. And for our structure, this time we just want the 2 columns. Very cool, so now let's click on the Rubik's Cube, and it looks like Apple has a heading and some text and a link and a button. So we're gonna get some headings, just one, and back to Rubik's Cube and some text and a button. All right, and that link can just go in the text. That's really easy. Now for the right is where the fun part comes in. We need that cool image that's like half of a computer, and we need to be able to decide what goes on the computer. So let's update this section, and let's actually just open up WordPress in a new window like this, go to the dashboard, and let's see, maybe we have a cool laptop image in our media. So if we click on media, you might be happily surprised to know that we do. We got this cool half laptop image from the Hero UI builder that Elementor made for us. So we're going to download this to your computer and then use a really beginner-friendly photo editor that I use for almost all of my website photos and anything from YouTube thumbnails or advertisements or blog images that just need to be touched up or add a little text on top of them, something like that. And that's PicMonkey. All right, so first we need to download the image. Copy that image link and then open it in a new tab and then just paste it in, and we're going to hit enter and that'll go to just the image itself. Now we're going to right click on it and save image as to download it to your computer. So we can call this one like half laptop and save. Alright, I already had one, so looks like we're going to need the second one and save it. Now I'm just going to open up PicMonkey and get to work. Alright, so I'll give you a link to PicMonkey in the description beneath the video. I definitely recommend you sign up. It costs a very small amount, but for that small amount you can basically become your own graphic designer. You don't have to pay anyone on Fiverr or go and request some services. You can design your own logos, graphics, collages, whatever you want. It's more than awesome. And if you really don't want to get PicMonkey, you can also do this for free using pixlr.com. That's pixlr.com, but this is way more fun. Alright, so once you're in your PicMonkey canvas right here, you just want to click open new at the top and grab from your computer. And then we're going to grab half laptop 2. Alright, cool. So now we're in the editing window for half laptop 2. And I just want to put an image on top of it that looks like what Apple's doing here with an image of a laptop. I don't have a laptop handy, so I'm going to grab an image of my desktop. So I'm actually just going to pull everything away, and I'm going to take a selective screenshot by hitting Command-Shift-4, and I'm just going to drag down, and I'm sorry you can't see, well maybe you can see my icons. Alright, so if you can't, sorry. But now we're just going to get what looks like a consistent width on both sides, doesn't have to be perfect, and we're just going to let go and take the screenshot. Now we're going to go back and we're going to come to PicMonkey, and we're just going to click on the butterfly now, which is overlays, things that go on top of your image, anything from symbols to arrows to spirographs, whatever you want, and we're going to add our own. So click add your own, click my computer. Now we're just going to find the screenshot we took, which should be on my desktop. There we go, double click it, or you can click open, and now here's the screenshot. So we just need to position it a little bit better. Just going to make it a little bit bigger so that it covers the entire background area. Alright, and then we can click away to see how it looks. It looks good. I just want the gray space beside and above to be the same. Push it in a little more, and we did it. Beautiful. Now we just need to save this image and put it on our website. Alright, so in order to do that, click export. Make sure it's a PNG here so it's the highest quality, and then just give it a title, like half laptop 2 with background. And export to computer and save. Now come back to WordPress in our media library, and we can just close this half laptop, and we can actually go to our Elementor window here, and we're going to put it on the right hand column. So just click on the Rubik's Cube. Now we're going to drag in our first image. So it's just a simple image right here. Just click and drag, throw it in, and then click on top of it on the left to choose our image. Select files, grab our half laptop 2 with BG. Very good, and click insert media to make it come to life. Alright, cool. So now we just need to do some basic styling and we're almost there. So I'm going to go ahead and change our heading right here, and we're not going to make it say exactly what Apple says, but we're going to call it like Mac OS Dolphin. Cool. That could be a thing. And then we're going to come down and change the text to, something descriptive about it. So we're not going to use Apple's exact text, but we're going to say the dolphin is the future. It's also underwater and is an Arctic dolphin. Okay, we can also center our text. Click on style, just center it. And we can also click on the heading and center it. If it doesn't center, just click on it a couple more times. And we can click on the button and center the button. And to make this section even more precise, we're going to add another header above the header. Click on the Rubik's Cube and one more heading. And we're just going to write another heading to go beneath the heading, which is simply delightful. All right, now click on it, and to drag a heading or move it, just click on the pencil and drag it down. And center. And now let's click Style, and we're going to make this one a little bit bigger. Click Typography, make it bigger. Very cool. And now we click on the text and make that text bigger. So not too much bigger, but Style, Typography. All right, a little bit bigger. And for our button, we can just click on it and we can change the text to coming to stores near you. All right, very cool. Now let's just update and let's see what we made. Okay, so if we check out our website now, we can see that we're getting there with our Apple section. But we still need to add some other things. We need to add the gradient and we need to add some padding around it so that we can achieve this exact look right here. All right, so to add that gradient, you can just go to Elementor and we can hover on the entire section and click on the file cabinet for the settings. Now click Style, and in the background area, we're going to choose Gradient. So what we have here is a first color and a second color that belong to the gradient. The first color is right here, and we just need to click like a blue, maybe a darker blue, maybe an even darker blue, and we can just pull the wheel. So that looks kind of cool, but of course we want to go for that exact look just to prove that we can do it. And so yeah, we're going to actually make it a little darker. So we have to eyeball it a little bit, but if you wanted to get really specific, you could take a screenshot of that Apple gradient. So I just hit Command-Shift-4 on my Mac, or you could do print screen on a PC and grab like a section including the whole gradient. And then you can go to PicMonkey and upload it into PicMonkey, and you can use one of their color selectors to find the exact colors. In our case, I'm happy with a dark blue for the color 1, and then for color 2, just a black. Now to get more spacing around this section, let's just go from Style to Advanced, and I'm just going to throw a 20 padding on the entire thing. So we can see that might not be quite enough, and we can raise it to 50, let's say, and that will just give space in between the content and the border of the section. So it would be like right in here, and right in here, right in here, and right in here. But we have a problem because our half laptop doesn't want to be floating in the middle of this element. We actually want it to be up against the side of the window like it is on Apple. So what we can do is unlink the padding, and that way we can remove the padding on the right and we can remove the padding on the left. So it's just top and bottom spacing. Next we need to go back to layout, and where it says content width boxed, we want to make that full width. So that'll stretch it even further. And for columns gap, just go from default to no gap. And now we're touching the border. We can click on the settings for the left-hand column here by clicking on this file cabinet that's darker shade on the left. And then we can click Advanced, and we're going to center this left-hand content using more padding. So let's give this one some more padding. How about 40 across the board? Now it's looking a little bit more like Apple. We might want to bring that up to maybe like a 60. Now we can just click the button, and we're going to make it so it's a white transparent button. Just click on Style. We're going to make its background color nothing by, remember again, dragging this slider all the way to the right. All right, click away from it. We're going to give it a border type solid. That border color will be white. And for the border to show up, it just needs a width. Perfect. Now we just need to add a link beneath our text, so we can click on the text area, and then you can click enter right beneath the last word, and then we'll just write see the preview with an open alligator bracket. To set up a link right here, you can just highlight the anchor text you want, which is the text that the link goes around. Click on the Insert Edit Link button, and then you can go ahead and just type in some very relevant linkage, which is just www.apple.com. To make this open in a new tab, click on the gear, and now let's open link in a new tab. Check that box and update. Now we just want to make everything inside the text editor white, so click on Style, click on text color, and let's make it white. And if the link color doesn't change, you just need to go back to the content and highlight it, and we're just going to manually tell that link that the color is white. We're going to give ourselves a little more space above and below the laptop, so go to the edit section, hit that file cabinet, advanced, and then bring our padding up to let's say 80 and 80, and update it. And now when we go to our site and refresh, it kind of looked cool with the white background, but now we have something much closer to what it looked like on the Apple website. So let's compare it. We have what we made, and we have what Apple made, what we made, what Apple made, pretty close. I think they have the updated version of the MacBook Pro, but we don't exactly want to spend like $2,000. So the last step would just be to add some spacing between this section and the one beneath and above it. You can see Apple has that really subtle background for each of their sections, which sort of lets you know you're like, oh, I'm on this section, and then, oh, another section. So to do that, just go back to Elementor, click on the file cabinet for the whole settings sections, go to advanced, and we're going to give it some margin above and beneath of, let's say, 40 pixels, and there you have it. Perfect. Now we've created a section that looks, I would say, at least 90% like it does on the Apple website. If they change it pretty soon, Apple loves updating their website, then at least we captured it on video. And now you know some of the web design skills that a near $1 trillion company is using on their website. Let's make sure to update, and we could of course go crazy designing the homepage, but I want to show you how to create those additional pages on our site. You can of course edit the content in here, but I want to show you how to create even more sections, and then I'm pretty sure we'll figure out how to bring those back to the homepage if we want to do that later. So let's scroll up to the top, and we're just going to click on one of our additional pages, like About. All right, so as promised, we're going to work on our pages in a logical workflow, and About has nothing on it. So let's go ahead and add some About content and learn some new Elementor skills. So let's start by showing you how to set up a hero image with some text in it that's offset with a white background. So it kind of looks like someone's either saying something or thinking it, or it's just like a label for that image. So to begin, let's click Edit Page. And now we're going to edit with Elementor. All right, and we're going to click Add New Section. We're going to give it just one column, and this is just going to be a text editor. All right, very cool. I'm going to paste in some text I already wrote here about my beliefs on blogging and family and how they go together. Now we need a background image for our text, so let's click on the settings for the entire column, and then Style. For background type, we want classic, so we get the image and click the plus sign, and then click Select Files. And I'm going to upload an image that my dad and I took at the Taj Mahal. All right, I'll grab this image called Greg Narayan Email Marketing, just double click it to open. And then once it uploads, we're going to insert media. There we go. All right, so just like the video background, we're going to go to Layout, and we're going to stretch that image and the whole section. Now, because it's an image, we also need to go to Style, and we need to tell it that the size of it shouldn't just be the default size, it needs to be the cover, which actually will cover the entire space, and it'll make your image show like everything that's inside the image. We can also go to Repeat, No Repeat, so the image doesn't show up more than once. And in Layout, of course, we can go to Height, which is Fit to Screen. Perfect. Now I'm going to show you arguably the best way to move a piece of text on top of an image within WordPress, because you can move it in any direction if you know how to use this technique. We want to click on the column settings right here, and then we want to go to Advanced, and now we're going to give some margin to this text, but instead of pixels we want %, and by giving it a percentage we'll actually make it a percentage of the screen size, so that this text should move to the right location, whether on a desktop, tablet, mobile, what have you. It'll adjust to the amount of percents that we tell it to adjust. We're also going to unlink the values because we want to give it a different margin for a lot of these. And let's start by giving it 25% distance from the top of the screen, 10% distance from the right of the screen, 0 distance from the bottom of the screen, and then 60% margin from the left of the screen. And we can see that last one made it jump over here and condense perfectly. So of course, play around with those values depending on where you want your text to be floating on top of the image. The next thing we can do is pretty cool. We can just click on top of the text editor, and we're going to go to Advanced and give this a background color. So we can open up Background, and we can give it a classic background and a color which is just white. All right, now I'm not at all sure why part of that text got bigger than the rest of it, so let's dig into that. Let's click on the text editor and click Content and go to the Text tab. We can see somehow a little span found its way in here. So we want to delete any funny styling in the form of a span on top of the text. Perfect, and now we can just click Style, and in the Style tab is where we want to make it bigger. So we can make our text a little bit bigger. All right, maybe 3 lines is enough, and then we can center it. Pretty cool. And we can also click advanced, so we can give it just a touch of padding on the left and right sides so that the words aren't flush up against the border. So let's unlink our padding section, and we're just going to give it 2 pixels on the right and 2 pixels on the left. All right, that looks great to me. I don't know what you think. Hope you like it. And we can just update it. Next, I'm going to show you how to create a counter and a progress bar beneath this hero image on the About page. It's a great way to show progress you've made on any project, or just give a visual piece of data that describes you. So we're going to click Add New Section. We're going to get 2 columns, and then we're just going to start drag and dropping. So let's go to our Rubik's Cube. We can scroll down, and we're going to get some fun features beneath here we haven't used yet. We're going to drag in the progress bar to the right. And we're going to go to the Rubik's Cube, and we're going to drag in another progress bar. Or instead of dragging it in, something cool you can do is just duplicate it. So we can click on the progress bar, and then in the pencil area, just hover on the blue pencil and click duplicate and duplicate. Now in our left column, let's go to the Rubik's Cube, and I want to add an icon list. All right, very good. And back to the Rubik's Cube, and we're going to add a counter. All right, you probably found it quicker than I did. And there's our counter. All right, very cool. We're just gonna click on the settings for this entire section and advanced, and give it a little bit more spacing in the form of padding. I think 40 should be good. I'm gonna take advantage of that white space. And now you can start editing to your heart's content. So let's start with the easy ones, which are just the icon lists. So we can click on one of them to expand it, and then we can change the text. I'm a blogger, check. And we can click on the second one, and just talk about what you do, like you're a restaurant manager, or you're a sculptor, or a painter, or maybe you're a fitness coach, or a motivational coach, or a financier, whatever you are. Go ahead and tell people right here. And YouTuber. All right, and going along with the theme of that last one, I'm gonna put the number of subscribers we have here. You guys are all amazing. Without you, I couldn't do what I do. And we'll change the icon for each of those. So icon, just want that check mark again, because I'm not sure what the other icons would really mean, although I'm sure we could think of something that would have meaning for the different icons. So up to you. There's all sorts of social media icons too. And I'll just go to style and center this section. So the last check mark was YouTubers. So following that, I'm gonna give a shout out to all our subscribers here. Thank you guys so much for sticking around over the years and helping out with my new videos. Seriously, I do it for you guys, and I couldn't do it without you. So thank you. Love hearing from you, even if you've been hiding out for months on end, like me. So that counting number here is gonna be like a nice 27,000 even, although I think we might have broken it by now. And that's definitely a cool number, which is just subscribers. So right over that. Now we can change up our progress bars on the right. So I'm just gonna go with what I spend my time doing here, which is answering questions, and that's 50% of the day. And then I think we can go to style. We can also make the title style a little bit bigger. All right, so something like 20 should be perfect. And then we're gonna click inside, and we're gonna just go back to content and get rid of the inner text. All right, so I really like how that looked, so I'm actually gonna delete the other 2 progress bars and then just copy this one again. And this one's just gonna say WordPressing, and it's just gonna be 25%, so 25. And this last one is gonna be playing with kittens, which is another 25% of my day. Go figure. All right, so 25 is good. We're gonna update, and this section is done. Next, we'll see how to create a floating 3 images across the screen. All right, so we'll start by clicking Add New Section, and of course, 3 columns here, and each one of those columns will contain an image. So click on our Rubik's Cube, and we're gonna pull in 3 different images. All right, so image, image, and image. Now to get those images, just click on top of them and then click choose your image. upload files, select files, and we ideally want 3 images with the same dimension. So in our case, that's going to be 2:1 width to height. It's just these 3 images right here, and I'm just going to click and then command click and open. Alright, so the dimensions can be whatever you want as long as they are the same throughout the images, and you can also edit and crop images within WordPress. If you upload an image and you really don't want to edit it outside of WordPress, you can just click on it and then click this edit image link right here. And then you can edit the media file itself. You just need to click on it and hold to crop, or you can change the aspect ratio and then crop it. Really easy and pretty fun. Alright, in our case, I'm just going to grab this first one of the blogger. Second image, choose image, that's Angel and I in Veil. Third image, choose image, and kittens. Perfect. So how do we make these images stretch across the full screen? Well, we go back to the settings for the entire section. We're going to stretch this section. We're going to say content width be full width. And we're going to say columns gap, no gap. And we're done. And we can update. Alright, next I'll show you how to add an Instagram widget to your website. So let's click add new section and give it 2 columns, and we're going to put Instagram on the right. We can do a search for Instagram. There she is, and we can just pull it in on the right. And now we're going to start by getting rid of the title, and we're going to choose the images style of 3 columns. And there's some other cool settings you can play around with here, like what the button text says. But for now, we just want to make sure it's not Adidas, so it's not a messy Instagram. It's just us, which is Naragai. And we're going to give it a number of images to show, which matches with the images style we picked. Alright, pretty cool. We can also change the link to, so it goes to the Instagram image itself, or your profile, or a custom link. And we just want to add in a heading because we got rid of it. So let's click on the Rubik's Cube and then just drag in a heading. Alright, we're just going to call this one Instagram, and we can go to center and style, text color black, and then typography, we're going to want to make the size bigger, like 40, and then that'll be perfect. Alright, so we'll update that. It's done. And now we're just going to add some quotation marks on the left so it looks like we're all worldly and knowledgeable. Those are just text editors, so we just put one in there. And our first quote is by a cool guy named Lao Tzu. So we can just paste it in, and to make a quote, you just got to put quotes around your text and say who it's by. Then highlight the whole thing and just click on the block quote button. Boom, and done. We can click style, and we can actually make it bigger by going to typography, of course, and make it nice and large. We just have to change the line height then so that it's not too wide. Alright, once we have one good quote, we can hover around the pencil and just replicate it and replicate it. Alright, now we can enter in more quotes. So the second quote is buy the ticket, book the trip, and I believe Casey Neistat said that. So it's pretty cool. We'll give him credit for it. He might have said that, in a cooler way, but it was something like that. A third quote, which is just be one with it, and it will be one with you. And that's my favorite proverb of all time. Because it says that if you want to become a part of something or something new, then the first step is just to make yourself a part of it and adopt its practices into what you are, and then the rest will fall into place and it will open its doors hopefully to you. Alright, so with that done, we just need to add some padding to each of these sections. So that's pretty easy. We just go up to the section and click on the settings for the whole section, go to advanced, and let's give it 40 all around, and it'll be nicely spaced. Now let's just update, and we're done with your about page. Great job. So when we refresh our about page, we see it looks really cool. We have the hero image, then we have our progress right here, and the 3 images, and then we have Instagram and quotes. Now you might be wondering what happened to our footer, and really nothing. We just have the default footer by OceanWP and Nick. And when we're finally done making our pages, we'll add a really stylish footer. Alright, so next order of business is just to create the services page. Let's click services. And now let's go to edit page. And edit with Elementor. And add new section. And this is just going to be a bunch of big 2-column sections going all the way down the page. The idea of this page is just to make your visitors really pleased and content when they think of your services, and I know an easy way to do that, and it's with images, lots of images, instead of lots of text, which everyone does, and then no one ends up reading it, and people wonder why they don't get their services read, or sadly sometimes used. Okay, so let's start building this section from top to bottom. The first thing we need is a heading, and then a divider and some text, and then a massive background image after that. So let's go to the Rubik's Cube and let's drag in a heading on the right. And we're also going to drag in a divider. All right, divider is just a line that goes horizontally. And Rubik's Cube, and we're going to grab in a text editor. Okay, so let's do some basic styling here. Click on the heading. We're just going to call this a powerful heading. And click style, and we can bring that text size up. Click typography, bring that size up to something you think looks good. In this case, I'm going to change the font family to another one I like, and I know Elementor likes it. It's called Poppins, and we're going to click on the text editor, style, do the same thing with it. We're going to click typography to make it nice and big, just so it's legible, you know, no really small text that people have to squint at. And then from the family dropdown, we're just going to choose Laura. Elementor also loves Laura. You'll see that a lot on their sites. Okay, and then we can click on the divider, and I like making the width something a little bit less. 33 is perfect, and then making the weight bigger. And then we're just going to make that color of it a nice light gray. Something subtle. All right, that should do, totally up to you. And now I'll just update. So enough of the text, let's start focusing on the images. So let's click on the settings for this overall section. Now we're gonna click style, background type classic, and image. All right, and we're gonna upload files, select files, and we're gonna grab a ton of good background images for this page and others. Even though we have some already, I wanna give you more. And by the way, if you look in the description, you'll likely find a link to download all the images so you don't have to go hunting around for your own if you don't want. Although most of these images did come from pixabay.com, which is free. So I'm just gonna grab a lot of images here, just a lot of them, a lot of them, and that looks good, and open. All right, so first let's go with this nice mossy green forest floor and insert media. Now let's go to layout and stretch it, and height, we're gonna go to fit to screen. Perfect. Now we want to give ourselves a nice white background on this whole text section so that we can read it. So let's click on the column settings, and we're going to click on style, background type classic, background color white. Again, that was by clicking on the column settings right here, this grayed out little file cabinet where my mouse is. Now we can make this white box float inside the column, and we can make the text float inside the white box. You just need to have the column setting selected and click advanced. Then we're going to give it a margin of 60 pixels across the board, which pushes it inside the column because margin is space in between the border and the object itself. And then we're going to give it a padding of 20, which pushes the text inside of the object itself. All right, super cool. I'm really excited about this, guys. Just want to make sure powerful heading is all on one line. So style, typography, and a little bit smaller, maybe 42. Great job. And we're going to make the color of it black, and update. All right, so you can add icons to these sections. You can add links after each little text blurb, like maybe this talks about architecture or your design portfolio or all the different desserts you've made, or maybe just a cool company you've done consulting for, and then there's a link to the full project or something. That would be perfect for the services page. In our case, I just want to show you how to make this page flow beautifully top to bottom. So we're going to add a few more sections like this. All right, so what we'll do to save ourselves time is just copy this section down the page. So we're going to click on duplicate, 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 and why not one more duplicate? All right, there you have it. So now if you want to move this text block to the left-hand column, all you need to do is just delete this column, click the X, and then we're actually going to highlight and we're going to add another column, and it just jumps over to the left. All right, so we're gonna make it go like right, left, right, left. So we can do that again. Go to this column settings, hover right here, just hover right here on the column settings, click the X, and then add one. All right, pretty cool. Now the good thing is we have more background images to choose from. So the next one is our fall leaves. We can just click on the section settings, style, change the background image, and grab the red bench, insert media, and voila, beautiful. If the image looks a little bit too big or out of proportion, you can always change the size to cover, and that'll make sure that the image gets centered and you get the full image, or at least almost all of it. We can also do that with our mossy grass floor. Just make the style, size, cover. Cool, looks even better. And if you're getting those duplicates of the image, make sure repeat is set to no repeat. Why is that happening? Oops, I meant cover, not contain. Alright, let's scroll down and keep moving on with the page, keep making it even more beautiful and diverse. We can click on our third services and change up the background image. Just click on settings, style, change image. We're going to grab the 3 windows here, really beautiful, insert media, and just make it no repeat and cover so it's consistent and awesome. Alright, let's add our next service here. Click settings, style, image. And these images could be anything. They could be photographs from your laboratory or your workspace. You know, they could be you out in the field, or just cool photographs you took when traveling, up to you. And we'll change up this service, click settings, style, change image, grab the surfer and insert media, no repeat, and cover. Beautiful. And then we're going to move the text to the left, remember, just by deleting this column and then adding it back in. We can change the background image for our final service to the dog. Insert media. Alright, perfect. And update. Alright, so once you're ready, go ahead and fill in the descriptions of your services, change up the headings, and you'll have a beautiful service page to show off to your viewers and, more importantly, your clients. Alright, so our services page is done. It looks amazing. And I want to show you a technique now that would create a page like this, but even quicker. So let's say that you set up another website on WordPress and you want to use your pages or your sections from Elementor on that website. You've already made the good ones, you want to pull them over to the website. Maybe you upgrade it from the hatchling to the baby plan to make another website and you want to just make it super quick with your sections. Or maybe you're just a little bit lazy like me and you don't want to make this entire website twice. So I've already made a really cool Our Work page for you guys, and I just want to go ahead and take this whole page with the background video and the quotes and all these different quotes from different places and these cool sections that I've made, and then you can fill them in because they're really awesome and fun. It's just too much to recreate from scratch, and I know I put a lot of design thought into why these things go in these places over here, the font sizes, the text, and everything. So I want everyone to be able to take advantage of that. Well, here's what we do to copy this section from one website to another, and basically copy an entire page from one website to another, which is something we haven't been able to easily do until now. So we can just start by clicking Edit with Elementor. Now in the control panel on the lower left, you should see a little arrow that says Save Options. Open that up and then you'll see Save as Template. Click that. We'll give it a name of Our Work Entire Page. And we'll click Save. Here it is. We just need to click on the 3 dots and click Export. And then save it as is. Alright, so we could see I was on this other demo website here on 6minutewebsite.com, and now I'm going to come back to our website we're building here. Alright, and we just need to open up the right page, which is Our Work. Now let's click Edit Page, Edit with Elementor. Alright, Add Template. Let's click My Templates. And we can see there's nothing here, so we have to add the template into our WordPress dashboard. Let's click on the pancakes and exit to Dashboard. Now hover on Elementor and just click on My Templates. And then at the top, click Import Templates, choose File, and go ahead and click on the file and open the one that we just saved. And import now. Alright, and there it is. To use the template, we just need to go to the page we want to use it on, click Pages. Let's choose Our Work, Edit with Elementor. Now we're going to click Add Template, My Templates, and there it is. Hover on Our Work entire page and click Insert. And there it is. Easy as that. All the content came in and it looks just like we wanted it to. Perfect. Let's update it. And we've created probably the quickest page ever in WordPress using Elementor. And of course, I'll give you this template in the video description below. Alright, let's just go to our homepage and make sure it's working. Click on Our Work. And beautiful. Great job. So now it's time to get our contact page up. You're probably going to have a few visitors, especially if you've been working on your site this much and making it look cool with cool features, and those visitors need a way to get a hold of you. So let's click Edit Page, and let's start building our contact page and edit with Elementor. And the first element we're going to create is just a full screen map that can show where your office is. So let's add a new section and use one column. And now we're going to search for map. Google Maps is what we want. Just drag it in. Perfect. Now this map is pretty smart. We can actually just type in what are basically just words, but Google will interpret the location as long as you spell it roughly correctly. And there we go. That's me. So now we're just going to click on the entire section settings, stretch it, make the content width full width, and make sure there's no gaps in the columns. And voila, you've just created your first full screen map. Below the map, we need a new section with 2 columns, and on the left, we're going to have our contact details. So we can click on the Rubik's Cube and we can just drag in an icon list. Very good, and below that, we can just click on the Rubik's Cube and drag in an image. Just for fun. So the icon list is really easy. That's just going to be email, phone, address. So you can just click on the icons, open the first one up, and we're just going to write email, colon, and then our email, which you can all use if you have any questions about the tutorials. And I really do mean it. I don't want any question to go unanswered, so let me know how it's going. Although the YouTube comments are quicker for answers, they really are, because my inbox is like in the thousands. Alright, so we're going to get an icon that matches it. You can just click the icon box and then write in, if email doesn't show up, then how about envelope? There you go. So that's cool. And we can do the second one, which is just phone number, list item 2. It's going to be phone, colon. Alright, there we go. And then we can do the icon, phone. There you go. And then for the third one, click on list item 3. Really easy, just do address, and then we can do our address. Alright, and then we can just do the icon, which is just address book. Now for the image, we're just going to choose a fun image of some people out and about having fun. So we're going to grab this image of paddleboarding. Love paddleboarding. People do that a lot around here, although it doesn't look like that, but it's still pretty fun. And update it. Perfect, and then last but not least, on the right, we just want a contact form. So you might remember we installed that Contact Form 7 plugin. Now we're going to use it. We just have to go to our dashboard. We'll go back, exit to dashboard, and we're going to click on plugins. And now we're going to click on the settings for Contact Form 7. Super easy. You just want to click right here and then copy this entire shortcode, including the open close brackets. You just need to click to highlight and then copy it like that. Then just come back to our Elementor editor window, and we're going to click on the Rubik's Cube and grab a shortcode. Drag it in, and all you need to do is just paste in the shortcode, and the form should appear if everything works, and it does. Perfect. And update, and your Contact Us page is done. So our Contact Us page is done, and that leaves one more page for us to make, which is the blog page. The nice thing is this page makes itself as we publish blog posts, so I want to show you how the blog posts work and how they appear on your page. So to get this page with a blog post, we don't want to click Edit Page, we actually want to just hover on New and click Post. Okay, so the first post I recommend bloggers create is a welcome to the blog post. It just shows you care about the readers and you're kind of setting the tone with what they can expect, what you're going to give them, and then what your plans are. And I outline the next two types of posts you should write in our ebook at Dear Blogger, 10 Things to Do Before Your New Blog Goes Live. So that's a free ebook. I definitely recommend checking out if you want to grow the blog. So I'm just going to write, welcome to the blog, Elementor style. So it's kind of double meaning, like Elementor style is how we're going to do it, but it's also a blog about Elementor style. So that's pretty cool. And so the old-fashioned way to make a blog is just to write in your visual text right here, and you can also write text if you have like HTML to write in right here or paste in from another website, and then you can just write like you would in Microsoft Word right here. So let's walk through all the features in a WordPress blog post in about under a minute. In the upper left, you can set a heading. So if you want to include a larger title, or maybe this would be like the title of each paragraph or each chapter in your blog post, just highlight some text and you can choose a heading. Usually heading 2s are for inside the blog post, but heading 1 is the blog post title in a lot of cases. So I don't like using that. It's a good idea to just go with 2, 4, 6, or 3, 5, 7. Next we have bold and italics, so B is for bold and I is for italics, and then after that we have the bulleted list and the numbered list. To set up a list, all you have to do is put your cursor where you want the first list item to be and click list. Then when you click enter, the rest of it will become more of a list. Alright, and the same goes for the numbered list, of course. If you want to insert a quote, make sure there's some space around the text, highlight the text, and then click on the block quote. You can also left align, right align, or center text, although left align is the standard. And if you click the insert edit link, you can add a link to somewhere like Google. So it's really easy just to copy the link from wherever you are on the web, and then you can put it in WordPress. So copy and paste. If you click on the gear, you can add some settings for the link, like open link in a new tab, or you can search for existing pages or blog posts on your site and just click and create a link to them like that and update it. One of the coolest features is the read more tag, which can make it so your whole post doesn't appear on the home page, and instead you just get a read more button. So wherever you want that button to appear, you can just click on this little hamburger and it'll insert a read more link. Depending on your theme, this should work, and again, it won't show your whole post then. You can open or close the toolbar here. This is a strike through on the upper left lower section, and then there's a horizontal line to break up some text as well. Following that is the text color. Just click on the drop down arrow. You can choose a color, or you can add your own custom colors right here if you want to use them more often. Then we have paste as text. If you highlight some text from Word or maybe PowerPoint, it comes with formatting, and a lot of the times you want to use paste as text after you've copied it, so it just pastes the text. Clear formatting and special character are rarely used, although special character does come with a large set of different ways to spice up your blog post, like the infinity sign. Next, you can decrease the indent or increase the indent, although you probably won't need to unless you're really specific about the formatting. And lastly, we can undo, although I just hit Command Z, or redo, and then we have keyboard shortcuts, which will show you a little more on what you can do with your keyboard, like Command V is paste and Command X is cut. A lot of the stuff you already know, and some of the stuff you might not know. Pretty cool. To add an image into your blog post, we need to use the button we haven't covered here still, which is the Add Media button. Click on that, grab an image, and then there's some important settings. The image title won't show up on WordPress, but the caption will. The alternate text is good for SEO. It's good for describing your image. Description also won't show up, but alignment is important. If you do none, that image will just sit on top of text to the left. Right will nestle the image in text, center will put it on top of text center, and left will nestle it. You can link the image so people can click on it, and you can change the size and insert in a post. Pretty cool. Lastly, if you want to put in a video, just go find a video on YouTube or Vimeo or wherever you like videos. Go to the video page and click share, and then you can choose to either copy this link and paste it into WordPress, which will allow the video to show up, or click embed, which I like doing because it's a little bit better for SEO, and copy the embed code, and then come back to your WordPress blog post, Go to the text tab because we're going to paste in some HTML from YouTube and just paste it in. Alright, and that'll make the video show up. So you want to put that embed code in the text tab. So that's a lot of what you can do with the blog post. Blog posts also need categories like welcome and how to use Elementor. The format we don't want to mess with. Standard is good for now. Although if you find any cool tricks in formatting, definitely let us know. And lastly, we need a featured image. So that's different from the image in the blog post, and I'll show you why. We can choose this image of the puppy and set featured image. There's also an image gallery you could set up later. And we're just going to publish this post and let's see what we made. We're going to view post now. And we can see the featured image up top and then the image inside the blog post and then all of the content we just created. So nothing fancy, just a basic blog post. You can also add promotional content to your blog post sidebar, and one thing everyone likes to add is the Facebook like box, so I'll show you how to do that. Just go to Facebook page plugin in Google, because they changed the name of it a while ago, and then click the first link for page plugin. Then you just need to create a free Facebook page and put in the link to your page here, like facebook.com/yourpage. You can change the width and choose what shows, like the timeline, the height, the header, and the cover photo, and all that. And then once you're good on what it's going to show, you can just click Get Code. And all you need to do is copy this step 3 code right here. And we're going to put that in Appearance Widgets. So you come back to WordPress and you hover around the dashboard button and you click Widgets. And now if you want to get rid of a section, like maybe we don't have a ton of archives yet, you can just open it and delete it. And to add the Facebook like box, all you have to do is click on the text widget and now add it into the default sidebar. Add widget, it'll open up. Go to the text tab, dismiss, and now we're going to paste in that code that Facebook generated for us. And we can give it a title, add us on Facebook, and save it. Now let's see what we made. We can go to our site and we need to go to the blog because that page has the sidebar. And so if Facebook's not showing up because there's one more step, we need to paste in this code from Facebook that they made for us also in our blog. So to do that, come back to your site, go to the dashboard, and we need to install a plugin that just holds third-party code from Facebook, Google, etc. So go to Plugins, Add New, and we're going to install a plugin called Insert Headers and Footers. So do a search for Insert Headers and Footers, and just install this one by WP Beginner, and activate it. So big thanks to WP Beginner, they're a great blog and a tremendously good plugin developer. And now once you install that, in settings, you can click Insert Headers and Footers. And this is where you insert code from Google Analytics, for example. Maybe AdSense wants you to put in code. And in this case, Facebook wants us to put this code in the header box and save. So that probably took me like several hours to figure out at first, but now you know where that code can go. And now you get a Facebook page plugin. So that's pretty cool. It should show up now. And people can like and comment and all that stuff in line with your blog. Alright, now that our blog page is done, we've completed every single page on our blog. And the next order of business is just to set up our footer, because that's going to go beneath each page and will officially complete each page. To add your footer, you just need to go to any page, like the home page is a great place to start, and click Edit with Elementor. And we're going to create the same footer, then save it as a template and use it on every page. You'll see what I mean. So what I want you to do is come all the way to the bottom and just click Add a New Section. Now select your structure. So I want to put 3 different things in our footer, so I'm going to go with the 3 columns. And now we just need to start drag and dropping. So the first thing we want are some social buttons. You can just look for social, grab the social icons, and just drag them in the middle. Alright, so that was easy. We can of course change their shape, like style. I'm going to set a border radius of 25 so they're circles, and in content we're going to add one item, which of course is YouTube, but you can see you have a lot of items to choose from. Super flexible, and Elementor lets you really show off your social media swagger. Alright, so YouTube, they even have Apple, that's pretty cool. So YouTube, and there we go, we just need our link, which is just www.youtube.com/NaraiGuy. Alright. And then if you want to add one more, we can add item. And then I'm also going to do one more So WordPress looks pretty and all, but I'm actually just gonna do Reddit, because I started posting a little bit on Reddit. I think it's a lot of fun. You can learn so much, and people just go nuts in those comments. Okay, so now you guys can check out my Reddits. And Reddit's actually a great source of free organic blog traffic if you answer the right questions or you post really interesting links. So, all right, we're gonna update that section, and now for the right-hand column of our footer, we just want a menu. So we're gonna click on the Rubik's Cube, and we're gonna enter menu. We're just gonna grab custom menu and drag it in. Now we'll just select the menu, so we just have the main navigation. Then to get our whole menu on one line, we're gonna play with the menu padding. So we can bring it down. You just have to write in pixels, px. All right, very good. Now for the left-hand column, I'm just gonna have a copyright, which can just be a text editor. So, text editor, and I'm just gonna write copyright 2018 Greg Narayan. All right, pretty simple. And then we can get the copyright symbol just from Google, copyright symbol. And you can just copy and paste it right there from Wikipedia. And yeah, there we go. Put it right after the word and update. So we don't want our footer to be flush up against the section on top of it, so we can add some padding. You need to click on the settings, whole footer, click advanced, and we're gonna give it some padding of 20 everywhere. And then we want to center the text within the footer, so we can go to layout and content position middle. Very good. Now we'll just update it, and our footer is done. Oh, one more thing. I wanted to stretch it so the footer goes across the whole page, and now update it. So how do we use this footer on all of our other pages? Well, we have to save it as a template. If you click this floppy disk icon right here, whatever footer you make can become a global template. So we're going to call this footer version 1 and save it. Awesome, now it's saved. So let's just make sure our page is saved. Great, it is. And now we can just go back. And now we can just go to our home page and open up a new page, and that footer will be waiting for us there. So we can go to About, Edit with Elementor, scroll all the way down, add template, My Templates, click Insert on Footer, and Update. And now to get rid of the footer that was beneath this page, which is the default footer from Elementor, we just gotta go back to the hamburger, exit to Dashboard, and down in OceanWP settings, click Footer and just disable the copyright area and update it. Now when we view page, we will have our own custom footer in place, and we also want to disable this black area, so we can go to Edit Page, Footer, and disable the footer widgets area and update. And view page. Perfect, great job. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to all of our pages, and then we'll have a consistent footer throughout. Alright, so now you are done creating the pages in this tutorial, and I wanted to show you a couple more tricks, like how to add a link on this button so it clicks and goes down the page, and then how to make our nav menu a little bigger. And up here you'll also see we have a cart icon, just because I secretly installed WooCommerce to show you guys in the intro how we'll add products if we want. But that's a tutorial for another day. Actually, probably a day about a month from now, in July, that video should be ready. So that'll be fun. It's just kind of nice how the cart icon just comes in our menu, and all I did was install the WooCommerce plugin. So let's set up that link on your homepage video background, and we're just going to do that by clicking Edit with Elementor. And this will make your buttons work like the Sydney buttons do if you watched our Sydney WordPress tutorial. Those are super fun, everyone loves those, and now we get to learn how to create them. So we just click our button, and we're going to set this up from scratch. And then in link, you just keep the pound sign, the hashtag, and just write in like my dash anchor. You don't even need the dash, you can just write one word. And then update it. And so now when they click that, it'll go to the anchor, but the anchor has to be somewhere. So we're gonna go down the page and we're just gonna put the anchor wherever we want, like on Writing Made Simple. Or, you know, even better, we can just put it on our little custom Apple section. So to do that, just click on the settings of the whole section, and then we're going to click Advanced. And then for CSS ID, just write in without the £, my-anchor, or whatever you put up top, and then update it. All right, so we just followed those little directions there, and now when we check out the site, it should work. So now when you click on the button with the nice little arrow that tells people where to go, it goes down perfectly to the right section, right to the very top of it, just like Sydney. But now you know how it all works. All right, very cool. So next we're gonna install our, we're gonna increase, our navigation menu size. So we're gonna do that in Customize, and then we're gonna click Typography. It's kind of hidden in here, and then we're gonna click Main Menu, and right here you can increase the menu size. So it's at 13, and we're gonna make it 18, and make sure you write in the PX. Beautiful. And publish. So that'll affect all our pages, but if you just want to increase the menu size on one page, you can do that in the page editor in OceanWP settings. We're also going to bring our logo up a little bit bigger now that the menu's bigger. So we'll go back, and we're going to go to header. Man, my Minnesota accent's coming out. We're going to go to logo, and then here, of course, you can just make the max width a touch bigger, and it should show up in a second. It's just going slow. Okay, and it looks like there's some kind of maximum height or maximum like amount that our logo can be, which is contained in the header, it looks like. So I'm just gonna use the max height one and make it as big as possible. Perfect, and we'll just set it right here, and I'll have to look into why it's being limited like that and let you guys know. But it looks like we made it a little bigger, so that's cool. And whatever it is, it's just lined up centered with the menu. So that should work fine. Alright, so I'm super sad to say that's the end of our tutorial. The person is still taking photographs, but what changed is that you have now an amazing website that you can change the world with. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about Elementor, WordPress, or any of the features we created, or even any feature you are thinking about creating but aren't sure about, or maybe a question about the whole process of registering a domain name, getting web hosting, setting up WordPress, which host to use, whether or not WordPress is right for you, how to get cute kittens, how to get Instagram working, how to make the social media icon buttons, or anything at all, please drop those down in the comments below. No question is too simple and certainly not stupid, and I would much rather spend a half an hour discussing a question with you than have that question ever go unanswered. Of course, please make sure to smash that like button if you learned anything here, and also hit subscribe. That helps a ton, because when people click subscribe or like, then YouTube thinks, oh, maybe that video is actually worth something, or maybe it's good. And then YouTube rewards me, because that's how their algorithm works, so I really appreciate it. It helps like more than any of us really even know, I think. I'm gonna go hop on a flight in about 4 hours, so I gotta go pack, but it was a true pleasure spending this couple hours working with you, because I really enjoyed making this for you. Alright guys, that does it. Please again make sure to ask questions in the comments, smash the like button, and hit subscribe. And I'm sure I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Narayan. Thanks so much for watching. Come on, let's check it out. Alright, let's go.